What's going on, guys? MikeMike here from Project Rise, and today we're going to be going over some of my favorite tips, tricks, and warm-up routines for upper body calisthenics. Now, a lot of upper body calisthenics training involves compound movements. You're working multiple body parts, so sometimes a generalistic warm-up can definitely be beneficial. So if you have no idea how to warm up before you get to the park or wherever you're training, this video is definitely or could potentially help you. Now, if you are chasing a very specific skill, such as like handstands, you definitely want to make sure that you're specific in your warm-up. So you're warming up the wrists, you're warming up the shoulders, you're warming up perhaps core proprioception or overall body of proprioception before you get upside down. That's a very specific example for a specific skill that you're chasing. Now, today we're going over more general stuff, so this is a warm-up or some tips and tricks that you can use for any type of calisthenics upper body training. Hopefully you can learn something new. Let's get it. Guys, we're going to start today's video off with some of the items or common items I bring to the park for training. So first things first, I got my skipping rope. This here is going to be used for warming up 1 to 5 minutes depending what I want to achieve that day, or for keeping actively warm if it's cold out between sets. Next up, I have my speaker. So that's for obvious reasons, motivation, but also earbuds. Sometimes they fall out depending on what type you have. Earbuds are totally acceptable as well too, especially if you don't want to be obnoxious. Next, I have my stopwatch here. So I use my cell phone for music, but my stopwatch I use so that it doesn't interrupt my workouts, and so everything runs smoothly. I use it for timing rest times and for EMOMs or AMRAPs or anything that requires a stopwatch. Next up, this here is actually a cell phone stand. So when I'm chasing skills, I always film it for a couple of reasons. First, form check. Second, line checks, because a lot of the calisthenic skills are based on, a straight or horizontal line, whether it be handstands or front levers or planche or whatever. And I just want to make sure that that's always on point. Next, I have chalk. Shout out to the Bar Vibes crew for providing me with this. Liquid chalk, in my opinion, is the best for outdoor workouts. Doesn't create a big mess, and it dries super quick on the hands. Next, I have my cleaning spray. So especially during the pandemic, but even before the pandemic, it's just a good idea to wipe down your equipment. We do it at the gym, so why would we not do it outside as well too? All right, next up, I already attached it here, but I have a band. So this is a lighter band here. And the reason why I'm using a lighter band, it's got like a lot of give to it, is it's great for rotator cuff movements. You'll be seeing some exercises today that utilize this band here, but you can even get a thinner one. Just so happens this one doesn't have a lot of resistance with it, which is perfect for my warm-ups. All right, let's get it. Almost forgot because I already had them on. These are my Calisthenics wrist wraps from Calisthenics Pro. I went with the black ones today. They're for my day-to-day training, and I always have a pair with me. The wrists get beat up quite a bit in calisthenics training. I'm also recovering from quite a few wrist injuries over the past 2 years, so always have these bad boys with me just for some extra wrist support, especially in calisthenics skills training. All right, now that we've gone over essential workout equipment, we're going to be going over the first warm-up drill for today, and that is skipping. Now, skipping, I absolutely love it. If you train with me in person or you follow any of my content, you definitely know that I start pretty much every single workout with a little bit of skipping. And the reason for this, well, there's many reasons for it, but one of the biggest ones is that it gets your heart rate up super quick. I love doing it even before I do my active mobility work because it gets my body nice and warm. And in my opinion, it gets my muscles a little bit more malleable. I also like the fact that it works your coordination and your proprioception. Your proprioception being where your body is in time and space. And if you're doing an early morning workout or you're working out at different times of the year, sometimes it's really important just to wake yourself up before you get into the harder movements or before you even start trying to manipulate the muscles in your body. So skipping, definitely on my high list of stuff to do for your cardio to start things off. But if you don't have access to a skipping rope or you need another drill to do, you can always start with some jumping jacks or something that's really low impact cardio to get things going. One more thing I'd like to add about skipping here is that it's very versatile. No matter what style of fitness you're doing or sport or movement form, you can definitely use it for a warm-up. Skipping also can be super fun, and there's lots of different techniques you can do with it. All right, guys, first drill here for our active mobility is going to be something called a hinge lat spread. So there might be another name for it, but that's what I call it. You're basically hinging at the hips, using the inside of your hand to bring tension to the lat, and you're hinging back as far as you can. My back's a little bit tight from the back workout I did yesterday in this video, but definitely a good one to get the lats open. Now from here, I'm going to be wrist snowballing. So this is just something I do between a lot of the drills in my warm-up, and basically just brings a little bit of synovial fluid and blood to the wrist area. And the next drill I'm going to be doing is the forearm flexor lean. So as you can tell, I'm doing mini pulses here into the pole. Make sure you do left and right side. Forearm flexors definitely are under siege in calisthenics from all the grip work that we do. So now I'm doing a little bit more snowballing just because I'm getting ready for the next drill. And now I'm going to go into bar let go. So this is basically I jump up, I grab the bar, release the tension in my shoulders, and drop back down. And do about 3 to 5 of these just to get warm and get familiar with the bar. All right, now I'm going to do some forward arm circles. I'm also going to go backwards as well too, and about 5 to 10 reps each way. It just really depends on how you feel that day. Again, same goal here, just bringing some blood flow to the area. And this drill here is just going to lead into our next one, which is the scap raise. I never touch the bar without doing scap raises, primarily because they're the starting point for anything pulling related. So lifting through the scapula or depressing the scapula, thinking about retracting it as well too, or peeling my ears away from my biceps is what's going to make this movement count. So just a few more snowballs and then a little bit of a sleeve adjustment here before we get to the next part, which is single arm scap raises. So I'm going to grab onto the bar. I'm going to keep holding on with a few fingers till I'm ready to let go. And then I'm going to lift through my scapula. Now remember, this here, your single arm scap raises are how you're going to start your one arm pull-ups. So I highly recommend starting these at the beginning of your calisthenics training or beginning of your calisthenics journey, because they will follow you for the rest of your career, especially if you're working on one arm skills. All right, so some more snowballs, shaking out the arms, just getting ready for the next section. And I'm gonna be going with straight arm chest presses. So from here, I'm supinating my hands or putting my palms up to the ceiling, and I'm trying to lean through. I have my left leg forward right now, and this is helping me open my chest. I'm also feeling my shoulder blades touch together at the back very lightly. It depends really how tight you are again for this one too. You might be able to get a little bit further than I am right now, and I always switch legs just to make sure it's even on both sides. All right, so a little bit more snowballing, then I'm gonna switch the camera angle for you guys so you can see the side angle for my banded drills here. So first one I'm starting with is a straight arm, well, my arm's bending a little bit probably because I'm sore, but straight arm scapular retraction. So I'm just trying to get into the scapula now, 3 to 5 reps. Gonna have an open palm facing upwards, and I'm gonna pulse forward. So this is all happening with the same arm. So I do 10 overhead pulses. This is to help my shoulder angle, especially if I'm getting warmed up for handstands. Then I'm gonna put my hand out to the side like this, and then 10 side presses as well too to get into the chest or anterior delt. This one here, call it a body hug or a scap hug. So from here, I'm getting all into my rotator cuff. I'm moving the band around the front of my body in a hugging motion, and then going into a chicken wing behind me. Now I do have to repeat everything on the opposite side of my body for the same amount of reps. I did actually forget the first drill, that scap, a single arm scap pull, but as you can see, I'm going overhead again for the pulses. Then I go out to the side again. Chest is a little bit fried and tight today. Same with the back, just from some upper body work yesterday. And then I go into the hugs for my third one. So going all the way around the body, going into that chicken wing motion. And at any given time here, guys, you can step forward or step back to make it more challenging or easier depending on what stimulus you want. So next up, I'm going to face the band again. Going to keep a straight arm one more time. And see how I had to make that adjustment there is just a little bit too aggressive for my triceps today. So then I'm doing, again, 3 to 5. You can even do upwards to 10 of these straight arm tricep pull downs. And that's just to get the triceps going. Next up, I have a little bit more advanced movement. So this here is a skin the cat. Now, for me, it's a warm up. I've been doing skin the cat for many years now, and it actually helps open up my chest, helps me feel into my anterior delts, and it's a great little prerequisite for movements such as back lever or 180 regrabs, or anything where I have to twist in this direct motion. So I like adding it as a warm up. Might be a skill for some people. Kind of just decide based on your abilities right now. Okay, so for this portion here, I definitely chalked up, want to make sure my hands are nice and grippy. So I'm going to kick forward and I'm going to start some swings. Now, swinging is very technical in and of itself. I'm using this today as a warm-up because I will be doing some dynamic movements on the bar. Now, even if I wasn't doing dynamic movements, I would still do swings because when I do want to train dynamics, I don't want a swinging motion to be super foreign to me. So always in my warm-up.
So next up, we're talking about some specificity. So I will be working muscle ups today. So what I want to do is make sure that body is super aware of what I have to do, my lockout at the top of my muscle up. So I'm using a low bar today to warm that movement up. I'm also going to get into some straight bar dips here. I believe they're coming up right now. Yeah. And this is just, again, to help me pattern what I'm going to get ready to do. So muscle ups are part of the training today. So I want to make sure I'm working a muscle up type motion in my warm up, starting with the basics, which is a straight bar dip. All right, next we have some core proprioception, or where on earth is your core in time and space. I always warm up with some hollow body holds. Doesn't necessarily have to be the full hold. You could always do a modification of it. But basically here I'm pressing my low back into the bench. My hands are overhead and I'm trying to keep my feet together and my glutes tight. Whole chain is tight. If someone were to push on my feet right now, I would rock back and forth. Core proprioception is super important because core is used in everything in calisthenics. All right, again on the specificity note, I'm going to be doing the muscle ups today, but I'm also going to get a little bit into handstands. And because of the way the body's feeling, I'm definitely going to add a little bit more wrist action. So this one here is for the forearm flexors again, fingertips facing me, pulsing backwards. I snowball in between, and then now I'm going to do wrist roll-ups. I'm on the back of my palm, and I'm rolling up into a fist, adding a bit of weight. You can always move your knees back to add even more weight. And from here, I'm now on the back of my hand again, doing a little bit of pulses, and this is for my forearm extensors, so more so on the front of my wrist or front of my forearm. Snowballing again, and that brings us to the end.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching today. Remember, please like, share, comment, subscribe if you like the content from today's video, and please drop a comment below if you want to see a specific warm-up for a specific skill or movement that you might be chasing. Stay safe, warm up before all your workouts, and hopefully today's video provided a couple of ideas or perhaps a new way to approach your upper body calisthenics training. Remember, the beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you. See you next time.